Greetings guys, this is David Banjo coming at you with another video. This time it's Sonic Superstars for the Nintendo Switch. I recently streamed this game and beat it to completion at twitch.tv/davidbanjo_. I will link in the description below. If you're interested, I stream Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. CST. So if you're interested, drop a follow and watch my streams, and hopefully I'm entertaining. If not, stick around for my video of my honest review of Sonic Superstars. Here we go. Picture this, it's the early 1990s. Nintendo has a stranglehold on the video game market, the home video game console market, with the release of the NES 5 years prior. It debuted the original Game Boy a year earlier, and it's trying to do the same thing, but primarily its focus, it's trying to captivate the audience of the US and the whole world of the home video game market. A company not known well from Japan named Sega tries to intervene and wants a piece of that metaphorical pie, introducing an anthropomorphic hedgehog with red shoes that can run faster than the speed of sound, named Sonic the Hedgehog. Not only this will change video games, but also this will change the rest of the video games generations going forward forever. How? Let me explain. The Sonic the Hedgehog series started on the Genesis, their version of the Super Nintendo, with 3 games. Sonic the Hedgehog 1, the same name of the same game. It started just him as his own lonesome trying to defeat Dr. Eggman. Sonic 2, which starred him and his best friend Tails, fox with 2 tails that can fly farther and higher, and can fly to get items, and Sonic cannot do that, but that introduced his best friend. And Sonic 3, that introduced Knuckles the Echidna. Now Knuckles cannot fly. I mean, he can fly, but he cannot fly higher than Tails. He can, however, dig underground for treasure, and he can also climb walls. Now Sega isn't making games anymore for their respective system. They're not making consoles anymore, but they're making games for their competitors ever since the early 2000s. And they had some hit and misses, some games that are really good, some games are eh. I feel like Sonic Superstars is a return to form Sonic game, kind of like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, or their version of Super Mario Bros. Wonder. However, it just doesn't hit all the same beats as Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I will explain that in a little bit. Now, let's go over the graphics. The graphics of this game. The graphics are really good. The graphics, they kind of like they evoke a modernized version of the original Sonic games back on the Genesis with a fresh coat of paint. The levels, they look like the original levels as well, but they're not. They're inspired. For example, the first area, Bridge Island, looks like Green Hill Zone, right? But it's not Green Hill Zone. It just invokes feelings of Green Hill Zone. I just like the area when you go through the zone, or the levels. That's what they call the acts of the levels, from day to sunset. I like that. That's cool. And also there's these boss battles at the end, which I will talk about more about that later. And also this other level that I like, Pinball Carnival. You're in this circus themed level and you're being bounced about. I like that level too. That's really cool. It's a little annoying because sometimes you don't know where to go, but it's still a fun level nonetheless. Let's talk about the music. The music, it's being composed by Gen Senoue and T. Lopez. Senoue has been there for the Sonic series since the early days, since the Genesis days, and he's been composing the music. And T. Lopez is a brand new contributor to the Sonic franchise. Senoue, although I do appreciate his music, I felt that it was banking on nostalgia rather than being inspired by nostalgia to make an original song or something that invokes the feelings of that. It just felt that it was too Genesis-y. T. Lopez, I do like his tunes. Again, just felt like it was too Genesis-y, banking on nostalgia rather than trying to be in its own original thing like Sonic Genesis. Like Sonic Mania, sorry. Now, the problems. Oh boy, the problems. Let's talk about that. This game is a buggy mess. I thought that this would be like a figurative sense and not literally. Yeah, this game is a buggy mess. When I would select a multiplayer, the game would just be randomly stuck in on a black screen with like white text on the bottom. I'm not kidding. Sonic would randomly clip out of bounds and in a world map. I would be going up this level vertically, and I feel like Sonic would clip and die. I guess the game thinks that your Sonic's being squished, but at the same time I feel like that's a glitch. Yeah, this game is a buggy mess. So many bugs that they could have easily ironed out. They could have easily delayed this game to next year, to summer 2024, and this game could have been much better. Ironed out the bugs, could have been so much smoother. And the fact that they released this game at the same weekend of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, I feel like Sega just shot themselves in the foot. They could have sold a lot more copies if they didn't sell at the same weekend as Mario. But yeah, this game is a buggy mess. The other problem is the multiplayer is an afterthought. So there is 4-player simultaneous co-op, local co-op, but also there's a separate multiplayer menu where you play as robot versions of the Sonic characters. So Robot Sonic, Robot Tails, Robot Knuckles, Robot Trip, I think, and which is a brand new character to Sonic Superstars. Why can't we play as the original versions of those characters? I mean, it's cool to play as the robot versions. And the fact also, to top it off, you're playing as in a free-for-all, kind of like a watered-down Smash Brothers version of it, trying to defeat the other enemies or the your opponents, rather than in a race or something like that. It's just who can be the best. Again, it's an afterthought. It's very convoluted. It just felt like they just tacked it on at the last minute rather than actually thinking of it through. Now, the co-op, the 4-player co-op is technically a multiplayer mode, but also let's talk about the problems of that. Camera focuses on player 1 rather than the other players or the background, or zooms out whenever the 4 players are on screen. Instead, it just focuses on player 1, which unfortunately leads to the other players getting lost. Literally, they don't know where to control their characters, they die. And also the fact that they didn't think about how some of these levels, they don't really play well enough in multiplayer. They play great single player, but multiplayer just does not play well enough, and I felt like they didn't think that through, the Sonic team. But the rest, they did a good job on it. And when you beat Sonic Superstars the first time, you get a separate story campaign called Trip Story. You play as a brand new character named Trip. She is kind of like Sonic. She can run fast, but she can climb up these walls, kind of like Knuckles. So she makes Knuckles very invalid. She makes Knuckles and Tails invalid because she can jump higher. She can double jump. And so if you have her unlocked, why play as Knuckles, Tails, or Amy, where you can just simply play as Trip? She invalidates the rest of the cast. And so her levels are a harder version of the original campaign or the story mode, but it's harder. When you beat Trip Story, you unlock a harder, or another story that I won't spoil, but you unlock an additional mode, and that's it for the single player content. So the rating for this game, I'll probably have to give it a 6 out of 10. This could have been an 8 out of 10 if they just ironed out the bugs, just fixed all these things that are easy fixes, I feel like, because this game with all its bugs and like Sonic randomly clipping out of bounds, this looks like a Game Freak game. This looks like Game Freak made this, not Asrest, which is a developer that made other games, I forgot, but they developed this game. Yeah, 6 out of 10. Good game. I would be careful if you're playing on multiplayer because of the, like I said, the camera focusing on player 1. But otherwise, it's a really good game. It would have been a great game if this game got delayed to 2024. Instead, they just released it at the same weekend of Sonic Super Mario Wonder, and they just shot themselves in the foot. That is it for my review of Sonic Superstars for the Nintendo Switch. Thank you so much for watching. Have you guys played Sonic Superstars? It doesn't have to be on Switch. It can be on PS4, PS5. It's also on those consoles, Xbox Series X, and also PC. Let me know down in the comments if you played this game. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.